Picture this. You're standing in front of two buttons. Button 1 says, I'm gonna look smart. Button 2 says, I'm gonna do the boring stuff consistently. Most people hit the first one because it gives you that quick hit. You feel special, talented, above it. But money is stubborn. It gravitates straight to the second button. So here's the question. Do you want to look smart or do you want to be free? Because intelligence without action is basically just stage decor. Why should you care? This might sound a little harsh, but it's the honest kind of harsh. If you're smart and capable, but you keep feeling like, I never have enough money, I could be doing so much more, I'm stuck, this is for you. In the next few minutes, you'll understand 1. The 3 psychological loops that keep smart people broke, and it's not laziness or a lack of talent. 2. Why you keep almost starting, but never really moving or finishing. And finally, 3 powerful, practical steps you can take right now to pull you into real growth. No magic, no money blocks.
Now let's dive in. Let me introduce you to Peter. Peter's 34. He's genuinely smart. He gets it. He can explain any process better than the person actually doing the work. Peter's had chances, more than one. He's tried a bunch of small businesses, electronics repair, a little installation service, delivery, assembly gigs, even a coffee spot with a friend. And every time, it's the same exact pattern. At night, phone in his hand, he's scrolling, watching some random guy launch yet another project. And Peter thinks, I do it better. I do it the right way. I just got unlucky. The conditions weren't right. Then morning comes, and he delays again. Every night, Peter starts from the finish line, and that's why he can't survive the actual path. Now meet Ron. Ron's 35. He's not the smartest guy in the room, and he's not insecure about it. He doesn't spend energy trying to sound impressive. He spends energy trying to be useful. And if Ron doesn't know something, he's not embarrassed. He learns it and handles it. Ron's had chances too, more than one. He started small, mobile installation and assembly work, then small repairs, then he added one more service people kept asking for. No perfect master plan, just step by step. And every time, it's the same pattern. Morning, phone in hand. But he's not scrolling to see who launched the next big thing. He opens a list, who to text, who to call back, whose quote to send, who to remind about their appointment. Ron isn't thinking, how does this look? He's thinking, what do people need today? And when someone tells Ron, your website looks rough, your packaging is weak, your logo's kind of meh, he doesn't spiral. He goes, got it. He makes one quick fix and goes right back to the main thing, contact. While Peter waits for the perfect conditions, Ron builds conditions with his hands. Reality pays for repetition, not potential. And trust me, I know this feeling from real life. I too had a stretch when planning, explaining, and thinking everything through perfectly basically ate up all of my time. And guess what? Nothing changed. Every day I kept waking up to the same reality as yesterday. My plans were still big, just never perfect enough to launch. Then one thought snapped me back to reality. The world doesn't pay you for potential. It pays you for repetition. Even imperfect repetition. It pays you to keep showing up, imperfectly, but consistently. And here's the most uncomfortable part. I realized my perfectionism wasn't my high standards. It was just fear. Simple and plain. Fear.
But where does that paralyzing fear come from? And why does it grow? Usually it has a few root causes. And the first one is this: brutal standards, the perfect or nothing polarity, that rigid bar. Peter lives with this rule in his head. If I do it, it has to be amazing. If it's a business, it has to be profitable fast. If I start, it has to be a big breakthrough. It sounds like ambition, but in real life, it's a trap. Because when your standards are that rigid, your brain flips into one mode: win or shame. And when your nervous system puts shame next to action, you know what it chooses? It chooses to do nothing. It chooses not to act at all. For example, Peter decides to launch a service. He builds a website, sets up the page, comes up with the perfect name, design, logo. Week 1, he's improving. Week 2, he's doing finishing touches. Week 3, just a little more, but no calls, because he hasn't even started actually offering the service. And that's when anxiety kicks in. Anxiety isn't just nerves. Anxiety eats focus. So now Peter can't make clear decisions. He gets scattered. He panics. He procrastinates. That's the trick. Anxiety loves to dress up as perfectionism, and then everything starts slipping through your hands. And then Peter tells himself, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I need more prep. Maybe I should take another course. But really, all he's doing is avoiding that sharp feeling of discomfort that comes with one simple but important step. I can start anytime and be imperfect. Meanwhile, Ron learned how to mess up with dignity. He accepted imperfection as the only real path. His brain can't help but try, out of curiosity. He doesn't just want to know how to turn on the light bulb. He wants to know the 1,000 ways it might not work and what he'll learn from the mess.
Root cause number 2, living in your head. Peter is a champion at internal movies. He pictures himself 6 months from now, a line of clients, picking out a new car, responding calmly to everyone, confident, sharp, respected. And that movie gives him a nice little boost. He feels like he's basically already winning. And then, bam! He puts the phone down and looks at real life. And real life looks like no system, no consistent offer, no repeatable actions, no contact with actual clients. And it hurts because the gap is huge. So what does the brain do? It offers pain relief. And the painkiller is a new fantasy. I'll start next Monday, on the 1st of the month, after I fix a few things, or when I feel motivated. What's happening? It's Peter's fantasy taking over. But fantasy isn't motivation, it's temporary pain relief. This is exactly how a typical smart person could spend years living in the mode of, I'm basically about to start, but next Monday. In reality, all they're doing is thinking and fantasizing. Meanwhile, Ron is constantly looking for feedback from the outside world. He stays in contact so he doesn't have to guess and rely on his internal fantasy. Ron doesn't take product feedback personally. He draws a clear line between feedback about the product and a judgment of me as a person. That's why testing doesn't crush him. It strengthens him and stabilizes his ego, making it less fragile. With every test and every response, he gets clearer where the product is strong, where it's weak, and that clarity makes him sharper and more competitive.
Root cause number 3, no consistent contact with reality. Not the universe, not luck, not money energy, but the real things like local demand, real people, real needs, and real repetition. Here's the simplest formula for money in a small business. Money shows up where you consistently solve a clear problem for people, and you do it more often than everyone else. That's it. Let me rephrase this. The point where people's needs meet your ability to provide a consistent service is where the money starts to flow. But Peter doesn't see it for what it really is. He wants the world to notice his intelligence first. He wants clients to appreciate the quality, so to speak. He wants them to get the idea. But most people don't need a genius. They need clear help fast, consistent, no drama. And if you run a service business, people care about fast replies, showing up on time, honesty, consistent results. It's boring, and it gets paid because reality only pays for real contact.
Here's a real historical business example. In 1997, the studio 3D Realms announced they were developing a game called Duke Nukem Forever, led by George Broussard. And what happened next explains no contact with reality perfectly. They didn't go out into the real world, they went into endless polishing. They didn't test against reality, they tested against a feeling. Is it perfect yet? In 2001, they even turned it into a philosophy. They said, quote, the game would ship when it's done. Years passed. The project got delayed, rebuilt, redesigned, and rechased. And only in June 2011, 14 years later, they finally released it. Sound familiar? That's Peter. Someone says your packaging isn't great, and he doesn't go sell, he goes to improve. He goes to prove. He goes to polish, so he doesn't have to face reality. But reality doesn't pay for the wrapper. Reality pays for contact. Sell, get feedback, improve, repeat. That's all. Everything else is a safe way of postponing your life. And here's the key point. Most great projects didn't start as genius ideas. They started as a messy string of mistakes and corrections. From the outside, every breakthrough looks sudden, but inside, it's tests, failures, and iterations. We only see the finish line. We don't see the road. So smart people fall into this trap. If it's not working fast, it means it'll never work. That's a mistake. Fast is rare, if it happens at all. The usual and healthy path is that it works after contact, repetition, and adjustment. Now, let's do a mini quiz. If you recognize yourself, just be honest. Do you often think I could do so much more, but you do less? Do you plan beautifully, but avoid the dirty steps, calls, offers, negotiations? Do you start, then quit because it doesn't feel right? Do you want to look like a pro immediately, so you don't let yourself be a beginner? Do you compare yourself not to people next to you, but polished final versions online? If yes, that's not laziness, that's protection. You're not unable, you just can't tolerate imperfection. Now let's do a quick body test. Right now, sit up straight, drop your shoulders, inhale, and take a slow exhale. Answer this question honestly. What's one action you're avoiding because you're afraid you'll look stupid or annoying? Maybe it's sending an offer, raising your price, posting publicly, making the call, or offering your service to people you know. And now the key part. When you think about doing it, where does your body tighten up? Is it in your throat, your chest, your stomach? That's your real pain point, your real block right there. And no, it's not an I don't have time problem. It's the fear of real-world contact. Here's when this fear pattern becomes dangerous. You get used to being smart in theory, and slowly you start looking down on people who do simple things. You start saying, they got lucky, they sold out, they're basic. That's ego protection, because the truth hurts. They're not better, they're more consistent. And if you don't break this loop, you don't just lose money, you lose respect for reality, which means you lose the ability to grow. Pride often disguises itself as high standards.
Okay, so what are we supposed to do to fix this? Step 1. Break the perfect or nothing pattern. Your rule for the next 30 days, do it imperfectly. Do it consistently. Pick one action that actually moves money and do the smallest version of it every day or every other day. Not pretty, not genius, just done. Examples: 3 offers a day, 1 call a day, 1 post a day, or 1 process improvement a day. A plan without repetition is just fantasy in a business suit. Step 2. Get out of your head. Contact instead of those internal fantasy movies. Every time you catch yourself fantasizing how great it'll be, do the opposite. 1 real contact. Text, call, offer, ask. Contact is the antidote to fantasy. It's crucial to start training your brain to come back to reality, even if it's painful at the beginning, because the healthiest relationship with money can only come from true and honest acceptance of the real world and real contact with it. Step 3. Identify the money point. Choose one clear problem you solve and sharpen 3 things: response speed, the clarity of your offer, and the repeatability of your process. Remember, money loves predictability because the client isn't buying your uniqueness. They're buying reduced risk. Money flows to repetition.
So the real question is, why do all of that? Why go through these uncomfortable changes when your brain feels great with things the way they are? Well, if the question is, why am I so much smarter than them but still broke, this is your answer. And here's the real price if you don't change this. You won't just stay where you are, whether that's poor, broke, or just complacent. Your brain might get so used to this fantasy reality you're living in that it may get stuck in the almost phase for good. This almost life can become the only scenario your brain plays, keeping you fully stuck in these patterns. Almost started, almost did it, almost had it. But life isn't a rough draft.
There's no better time to start building the life you want than today. Drop one comment. Which cause hits you the hardest? Do you feel like your standards are too brutal? Are you living in your head? Are you avoiding contact with reality? And please do me a favor. Write one action you'll do today. Not perfectly, but for real. Because being smart looks nice, but freedom is built with your hands. Wow, look at you! You made it to the end. And since you're here, I bet you're determined to change. And that alone already makes you a little hero. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. One simple like tells the algorithm to show the video to 10 more people who might need to hear it today. And don't forget to subscribe, because our next episodes will take you to a wonderful world of neuroscience, teaching you powerful tricks to negotiate with yourself and with your own mind. Until next time, stay calm, stay curious, and stay connected to your inner peace.